Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler. I will never not love that song.
That was a soda, by the way. That wasn't a beer.
You fucking alcoholic. It's 9:48 in the morning.
Whoa. Yeah, we record these
Jesus
early.
Christ.
Early for
I get
me.
to say that. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Fuck you. Wow. Start off the show.
That's like me just being like, fucking white trash. I can say that because I'm white. Which is true, though. Which isn't true, obviously, because anybody could be called... Well, not... anybody could say white trash.
Yeah.
Pick on white people. It's fine.
Yeah. It's totally fine. I was just watching the show the other day.
I mean, as a race, we've been pretty shitty to people for... since the beginning of time, so it's understandable.
What the fuck? I was watching a show and...
Sorry, this isn't a political show, by the way.
These people were... It was a joke about this guy, and he's like, stop. Oh, it was Between Two Ferns, and he was interviewing Aquafina. And it was fucking obviously hilarious, because Between Two Ferns is great. Go check it out if you can. But it's really great, because he's like, why didn't you hire any white people to be in Crazy Rich Asians? Because she's like, well, because it's Crazy Rich Asians. And he's like, well, give white people a chance. And she's like, well, yeah. Like, we went through like a whole year of being like, you guys are dicks, and now like leave us alone, So it was really funny because that's actually not true. I don't care.
Yeah,
I think it's well deserved, honestly.
I did not mean for this joke to get so political, but here we are.
Yeah.
I think it was an inoffensive joke. White people can take it.
White people can jump.
Anyway, this is not...
Speaking of what if movie titles, because that was White Men Can't Jump. In an alternate universe, it's White Men Can Jump. And that leads us into the topic to start the show, which is...
Well, actually, no, that wasn't the topic.
What?
We were going to talk about Legos first.
No, I thought we do long box at the end.
Oh, right. You're putting that in your long box.
Yeah.
You're right. You're actually on it. You're on it this week. That's my bad, Tyler. I'm sorry. You know what it is?
Did you see how I tried to segue that? It was terrible, but at least I tried.
No.
It was
you were right.
No,
I fucked it up.
No,
because, let's be honest, you're the lead this week.
Right.
Because you
But the segue was terrible.
Whatever.
It was really bad.
This is going to be animation heavy because... What If just hit Disney Plus? At least how many was it? Like 2 episodes or
there's 9. And
they just released the whole season?
No. There's a 9-episode season, but they're doing it once a week, like every show.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they did a. I feel like this show would be perfect for the binge model. Personally, I feel like it's something that you could sit. You should be able to sit down on a weekend and watch
Here's something we would love to get like a television writer on, who does serialized stuff for one of these streaming services, like an exclusive like HBO Max or Hulu or Netflix. And I'd like to ask them, somebody who's done something for Netflix and like Disney Plus where they do it once a week, and Netflix where they binge it. Does that change?
And HBO Max does weekly as well.
Does that change how you watch or how you write that show?
Yeah, I think it does because I definitely think that people are going to approach things in a different way because with Netflix you can tell your full story and just serialized and break it down episode by episode. Whereas as Disney, you're still doing essentially the same thing, but you're not. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know if the writing process that makes a difference. And you're right. I would love to talk to somebody that's actually written TV about this because I guess in a way you're still doing the same thing. You're still telling your complete story that is your season.
Right.
But I do think there are things
you probably
in
wouldn't care if they released it all at once or if they released it show by show because you wrote it show by show. So
right, and you
might have a preferable method, but it probably doesn't matter either way.
Even with the Netflix shows, you're still writing cliffhangers into episodes because even though it is set up to be binged, people can still watch it at their own pace.
Right.
So you still want to hook them.
Yes, that's a good point. But alternate point here is that I just watched the Blu-ray of Lower Decks from CBS on Paramount. I guess it's called.
It's Paramount Plus now. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we have the at my old apartment we have the full thing, so we have no commercials, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I watch like Cheers, no commercials. When I watch anything, no commercials.
Yeah.
Now, Lower Decks, I was watching Blu-ray at my new apartment, and they had ad breaks. Like they literally, like at one point, made a joke of it in the show, like, "Haha, it's an ad break," and it was like, why? I mean, I suppose that in the lower tier, you get ads.
Yeah,
but still, like
I don't like that. I don't like when you see things like that, because just write it normally. Write it normally, and you'll have what would be your ad breaks, and then you just go to the next scene. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry that we're. I just I hate that we're in the era of comedy where it's fucking funny to just break the fourth wall all the time. It's not. It's wearing thin on me. I see it too much. Mm-hmm. Too much winking at me. Just make a goddamn movie. Just make a damn TV show. And that's just me being the old man. But anyway, what if...
And another thing, get off my lawn.
Right. What if I told you I was an 80-year-old man trapped in a 27-year-old's body?
Wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Wouldn't doubt it for a second. So what if I got to watch...
let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. Now,
I haven't watched it. But
right,
you've watched...
And I'm not really going to get into the show, the episode itself, because it's pretty obvious, I think, to everybody that it is the Captain Carter episode. That's how it starts off, the show. But I'll leave it to you to watch, and we might review it.
No, I mean, I do want to talk to you about it. I want to have a discussion about it.
Yeah,
and
after you watch it, for sure. And
we can have a discussion about it now. I really don't care.
There's nothing really to spoil. I mean, kind of.
Well... it's not really spoilers because it's not actually.
Well,
it's dude.
Yeah, I don't want to.
It's literally just a different take. Like,
but
don't buy into this stupid fucking nonsense that it's somehow tied to the MCU. Because if it is, I'm gonna break my TV.
Why?
Because this is what hurt comic.
That makes it cool.
I was initially excited, but now I'm a little hesitant. It doesn't make it cool because now you're gonna. You're just gonna justify. I don't like it. I don't like where it's headed. I don't like it.
You'd rather it was an anthology series, not tied to anything.
Yes, I'd rather just be its own fucking thing. I don't want it. Not every single Marvel property has to be tied to the MCU. That's what I'm trying to say. Even though it is, because it has the cast from the MCU.
Barn door after the, close the barn door after the horse escaped.
I know, but as long as it's not... What I'm trying to get at, as long as... for me...
That's what we demanded of them.
Tyler.
Everything connect.
Tyler.
Now that it does, you're pissed?
No, I've changed my stance on it. I did. Because of this. Because I don't mind it having the... I think it's really cool that they have the actors from the MCU
most of
them. But...
The guy doing Chris Evans sounds like Chris Evans.
But my thing is... I don't want it to narratively be tied to the MCU. I don't mind it being tied in the sense that it's like, okay, here's an alternate version of our universe. As long as it's not tied into a main narrative. That's what bothers me. And I know, I literally was saying weeks ago at the with the end of Loki, I was excited about a multiverse. And I still am. But I am... I mean, what are we going to do with that? Like, we're just going to throw that.
I don't know if you guys made any kind of connection.
And we don't know if it actually is.
I don't know if you guys made any kind of connection between the What If trailers and the Eternals trailers, but I will make it for you. Okay? The Watcher.
Yeah, it's the Watcher.
The Watcher. No, hang on. The Watcher says we will not interfere. And the Eternals says we have never interfered until now. So what makes them come out of hiding? Well, duh, they've been protecting our Earth against things in our timeline, but now the entire timeline has exploded and they have to take action. And that's what this is all going to tie into Kang. It is going to be a massive fucking crossover of epic proportions, and it's going to kick ass and result in the Secret Wars battle world.
But I just hope, and I
which would be cool.
I mean, I know I'm going to sound like such a liar and a hypocrite, but let me just say this. I am excited at the idea that we could do a multiverse, so that way recasting and changes to those things aren't as jarring or different. You know, you can narratively explain some things,
Right.
but what I do worry about is you're gonna start. I don't know. Maybe this is me insulting the intelligence of casual viewers, but I'm worried that this is gonna get too complex for the casual viewer. And I said this at the end when we talked about Loki, and I'll say it again. While it excites me, someone who reads comic books and is, always
but
I love superheroes. I love these stories, so I know these stories.
right.
But if someone like my wife watches it, who doesn't read the comic books and just watches and she watches everything MCU related with me,
Right.
but even she's got to be like, what? Like, she's confused by things.
Now
because
that doesn't make sense to me, because I've told you before, like, I've watched like sequels to things or whatever and not known about the previous stuff, and I've been fine. And the reason why is because I let the movie tell me what it wants to tell. And if I want to seek out like that previous movie to watch what I missed, I can. It's not going to ruin that second or third movie for me.
I'm just worried that
I know some people are like that, but I can assure you that, like, say this whole thing culminates in something where Captain Carter shows up in live action in one of the movies coming up, right? Right? Let's just assume. Because you've seen that one shot where it's everybody in the Avengers has been replaced by somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's assume that they become real
Spider-Man
characters.
has the cape from
Sure.
Doctor Strange.
Let's assume they become real characters and they make it into a movie, and there's somebody who only goes to the movies. Now, I guarantee you that person
Team movie,
isn't
it's
going to
called
be...
The What Ifs.
Right, but it's not going to be like, oh, who's that? They're going to be
Yeah.
able to infer that, hey, that's Haley Atwell, and she must have got... You know what I mean? And then if they want to go back and
Yeah.
watch the show... I got to be honest, too, also...
Yeah, but if you're talking about Spider-Verse, that's a little bit different. Because
I don't have
that's,
that's
pretty...
I get a lot more free time than most people, but I love having all this shit to watch. Let me just tell you.
Let me explain this. That multiverse is different because those rules were established in that movie by itself. It's a self-contained story.
Yes.
Whereas to get to where we were in Loki and where that goes for Phase 4, you have to watch... You don't need to watch all 22 movies or whatever, but you definitely need to watch a good chunk of them.
Say you're a moron.
Especially Endgame. You have to watch Endgame because they set up the multiverse in that movie, technically.
I love my opening. Say you're a moron.
Say you're a dummy.
You've never heard of
it's
Venom.
It's the Captain America thing when you spin the chair around, so you're an idiot.
So you've never heard of Venom, okay? You know of Spider-Man, but you've never heard of Venom. You go and watch that movie, and there's no reference to Spider-Man whatsoever in it, even though you and I know that Venom is inextricably... and
Venom doesn't exist without Spider-Man in the comics.
And that's what pisses me off about these movies more than anything. However, do you think somebody seeing that movie, not ever knowing about Venom and not understanding the link to Spider-Man, you liked it? Now you know about it.
Yeah, but I'm biased because I like Venom. But
right, but do you think somebody could enjoy that movie not knowing that?
Yeah,
hey, okay, well
but
that's
here's
another counterpoint to that.
No, it isn't. It's a point for me because Venom is a refreshing
I was
movie.
talking about points.
I know, but if
I got 7.
I was like, no, but I feel like it goes back to what I'm saying. Venom works for me, and I think works for casual people because it's self-contained. Because it's all told right there.
Sure.
And you were able to tell a story without having Spider-Man directly tied to Venom. Yes, that's an alternate version.
Well, when you try... Look, the first time they tried to involve Spider-Man and Venom, it didn't turn out so well.
But what I'm trying to get at is, if you're going to tell me that what I have to now watch What If to get more of this story... It's starting to feel... I don't know.
No. See,
I'm a little worried about this.
You misunderstood. You don't have to watch What If to get more of the story.
And what I'm saying is I don't want it to be direct. I don't want it narratively to directly tie into the MCU. I don't want it to impact it, is what I'm saying.
If you desire to go back and learn more, even though you don't have to, because it's such a rich fucking tapestry, that's the way you should look at it. I have to go watch another show to learn more about this shit? How about I get to go watch this show that is... adding to the rich tapestry that is the MCU.
Here's what's funny. It goes back to what I was saying about Loki, is how I do get a little worried because it is hard to imagine what they're trying to do with those Disney Plus shows because on one hand, you're trying to serve people like us and people that really like this universe, and even casual people.
I've grown up with this universe, guys.
And like I said with the Loki show, I think most casual people that I know actually have watched the Disney Plus shows.
I
But
learned-
that doesn't mean they. But how do you? And we talked about this with Loki. And that's what I kind of like about this What If, because if it is just this fun little series, which I imagine it is, I don't want people to think I'm going to hate on it and not like it.
It is really fun.
I just don't want it to, you know what I'm trying to get at. Narratively, I would like it just to kind of be its own thing and still just have fun playing with the ideas of like, what if we decided to do this? In
you know what?
In the
I can
universe?
assure you, actually, in the positive, that as of at least this episode, that is exactly what it is.
Okay, that's cool.
There is absolutely no connecting whatever.
Yeah.
To anything else.
See, and that's why I think it would complicate things for casual
Let me
viewers.
ask you,
and that's what I was worried about.
Let's talk about something that that just because it is a point to consider. Now Jeffrey Wright is a black actor. He does the voice
he's
of
the
the
Watcher.
right? Which awesome. I love his voice. I
Yeah.
love his acting. Now, I bought the Sicarian Iron Man set, which has a Watcher minifigure. And it's a
What do you mean
Lego set. There's a Lego set for the Sicarian Iron Man, and it comes with the Watcher and Tony Stark and Valkyrie, and you change the thing into a car.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. But now
We'll talk more about Legos.
yes, we will on the long box.
Later in the show.
But the minifigure of the Watcher, which I think they should have made him a big figure. He's a big guy in the actual.
Did you see that fucking Galactus thing that's like 36 inches tall?
No.
It's huge.
Is it an actual Lego or did
Or
somebody
no,
just build it?
it's a Marvel Legends figure.
Action
figure.
No.
See, this is where we're different. You're talking about your thing is Lego.
I can't do action figures anymore. I tried. I did.
But it's different because Legos you're building it, whereas
Right.
if you get an action figure, you're just putting it up on a shelf.
So the
But-
Watcher character, Watcher minifigure is has the same skin color as Valkyrie.
Mhm.
Okay, who is I believe of African descent. I think Tessa Thompson. I think
Mhm.
she's New Zealand, right? Or maybe is she Maori? Gosh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I think she's New
so
Zealand.
now in the comics, and I honestly do not care. Like this is the same argument that like Ray Richards.
Oh
being
my
black.
gosh!
I don't have
is
any
Valkyrie
care.
white in the comics?
No. Well, yeah, but yeah, but no.
I'm faking outrage.
Yeah. I've never seen like a dark skinned Watcher in the comics, and I'm totally fine. with,
So you're saying that the movies, like the Disney shows and the movies, are impacting the comics?
it doesn't matter to me that
Because it happens.
maybe they made the
all
Watcher
time.
in this cartoon of darker skin because of the actor playing him. I don't. If that's the reason,
Yeah,
I don't
guess.
care.
I don't know.
But I thought that was kind of interesting that maybe a lot of people don't know that. And to be honest, my biggest issue with it is that more than anything is just I wish they would have made the Watcher a big figure, like instead of just a little mini.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's big in the comics.
Well, and that's actually interesting that it's always happened in the comic books, which always kind of frustrates me, but also is something that I was kind of victim of. Like, ooh, maybe I'll read that. Because, like I was saying, the shows and the movies have been impacting the comic books.
Yeah.
Like Tony Stark, for instance, they definitely made his character more like Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
And, there's definite changes.
Star-Lord is more like Chris Pratt.
And you can also kind of pinpoint in the Marvel continuity when Disney didn't own Fox yet and was like, you know what, let's
Yeah.
continue to just make the X-Men irrelevant
Yep.
and the Fantastic Four irrelevant. Like, it happens all the time.
Poor fucking Fantastic Four,
That
dude.
upsets me.
God damn.
That upsets me. But at the same time, I'm the one sitting here thinking, and you guys heard it because we had an episode earlier this week that was an hour and a half long about us just fellatiating
jizzing all over the Suicide
Squad. I was sitting there.
Yeah, it was so good.
I found out that Bloodsport and Peacemaker, and I think pretty much, I don't know if Polka Dot Man's there. I'm pretty sure Harley Quinn is. Point is, I know for sure Peacemaker and Bloodsport are my two favorite characters from the movie, are in this current run of the comics. And then I had that moment of like, motherfucker, they got me. Because
Dude, Harley Quinn was never in the Suicide Squad until she was in the movie. Never. She was never in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the New 52 kind of changed that. And
hey, you know what? I like my Superman with red trunks, bitch.
I know we already kind of said.
I'm serious. That was honestly.
You were mad about the red underwear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of his look.
Yeah.
I know you're like, well, what about? And I'm like, no, I honestly don't care if he's black or white, but you got to get the costume right, man. In fact, have you heard about the Michael B. Jordan HBO Max thing that they're developing?
What's his
rumored
name?
right now.
Well, no,
that's what I don't like about it. Is
it's not rumored. He's gonna be.
But they're making
he's a black Kryptonian. The black Superman.
Just to kind of touch on that real quick before we move on to the next issue, which is Marvel versus DC animation.
Before we get there, I do want to kind of. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead. Sorry, I was thinking about something else.
Interestingly, this is an interesting thing about Superman comics, is that for the longest time, whenever they showed Krypton, there were never anything but white people. And somebody started noticing.
Yeah.
And at one point in the continuity, they had, this is really bad. They had they retconned it that there were black Kryptonians, but they lived on their own continent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Africa? Really? Is that what they're trying to imply?
Yikes. This was probably the 50s or 60s, yeah. I mean, let's just say DC has never really had its finger on the pulse of the generation, okay? Ever. And then obviously they've retconned it now so that they're, whatever, but a lot of people don't know that there is that dark fucking chapter of Superman, like, history that's like, ew. Just makes your balls shrivel up. Like, hey, that's hey,
yeah,
that is yikes. What? Yeah, it's really, really terrible.
I'm trying to look up the name.
Did you ever watch Krypton?
No, I didn't. Val Zod is the name of Michael B. Jordan's
Here's the thing,
character.
though. I would have been totally cool, and he's a character from the comics. I would have been totally cool with Kal-El being black, though. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't have cared. Yeah.
No.
But
it might be important to the character that he's doing because it is a separate character.
Here's my thing. I just thought it was lazy, in a sense that I was just like, give him. And I was one of the people clamoring for, like, dude, there's a black Superman in the comics. Just make his movie. Like, tell that story. Because my thing was like,
Val Zod, right?
It's just frustrating, and people need to, especially if you have Michael B. Jordan attached to it. You don't need to rely on Clark Kent and Kal-El to make this character work. You don't need to do that. And to me, that's cool. It's not the fact that there's diverse, like, and like what you were talking about with, the changes to the Watcher and things, like little things like that. And the fact that now it pretty much ensures, because of it being Nathaniel Reed, now it pretty much ensures that we're going to have a black Reed Richards in the MCU, which I think is awesome. Yeah. Because I don't care. As long as the character is the same, that's fine. I just hate it when they're like, okay, we want to do something different. We want to make a black Superman, but we want to make it Clark Kent. It's like, you don't need Peter Parker to make a good Spider-Man movie because
you got Miles Morales.
You have Miles, and Miles is his own character and his own autonomy and his own little world. Like, what I'm trying to get at is, you can make new characters in this, and you can make, there's characters that you can use. You don't need to use Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker.
Right. It's this false right-wing narrative that that woke culture is da-da-da-da. And, whatever you want to think about it, it's fine. But I'm here to tell you right now that if you're one of those idiots who's like, well, making all these white characters people of color. What about making some characters that were people of color white? Because they've been doing it for 600 fucking years, asshole. It's okay now for it to go the other way. Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell, fucking whitewashing. Do you know what whitewashing is?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what it is. There you go.
Yeah. But
that argument doesn't hold water with me.
And the thing that frustrates me is this shouldn't be a political discussion. Because there's nothing political about what I was trying to say. All I was simply saying was, we don't need to rely, and this is what's frustrating, because it's a constant system, and that's why I'm glad that something like Disney Plus works and exists, or HBO Max now with Warner Brother properties.
Yeah,
I'm glad that those kind of exist in this space, because they can make something like What If.
Yeah,
they can take chances there because they already have the subscribers and they can kind of try different things. Whereas a lot of times they have to play it safe with movies.
Yep.
And this is what's so fucking frustrating. I want to see a fucking Val Zod movie. I'll go see that because it's in something new and interesting in the world of DC. I want to see that.
Mm.
And it just feels like unless you put fucking, and there's some people, and this is why they do it, and that's why I hate it, and it's lazy, and it just constantly is a never-ending cycle of shit where it's like, unless there's signs of Clark Kent in it or Bruce Wayne, it's like, I'm not watching it unless it's something simple where I can just be a casual. And there's nothing wrong with being a casual viewer.
Speak of the movies impacting the comics. Now,
I'm saying that some of these things shouldn't just, like, this is why
Samuel L. Jackson became Nick Fury in the movies. Sorry. Are you done?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
I was trying to.
I don't want to cut you off.
I keep getting long-winded, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know it's more of conversational stuff.
No.
But what I was trying to say was that there's nothing wrong with being a casual viewer. That's not what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is I like the idea that HBO Max and Disney Plus exist for that ability to
for nerds like me,
right? To make put
Who
the
will
Val Zod
consume
movie on
whatever
HBO.
the fuck you
put that on HBO
out.
Max.
Yeah.
I know they're going to want to make it a wide release because
Sure.
it's still a Superman property.
Yeah.
It's still a DC property.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, you could do that if you wanted to.
Well, if
you know what I mean?
fuckers don't mask up, we're gonna fucking not have any movie theaters again, dicks. Anyway, now movies impacting comics impacting the movies. Ultimate Comics is where Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson comes out, and they actually asked him if it was okay, and he was like, "Sure." Then
the first X-Men movie, the uniforms they're wearing are versions of the Ultimate X-Men comic.
Yeah. But
more tactical.
Well, because they gotta make it realistic.
Yeah, that was Grant Morrison's.
They're
a team.
You gotta
They're a team.
and I'm Grant Morrison. Okay,
I like weird shit.
so then Samuel L.
I like
Jackson
Grant Morrison,
became the Nick Fury from the Ultimate Comics in the MCU, but in the actual regular Marvel continuity, he is also in the regular Marvel continuity. Old Nick Fury is some dude.
The white one?
Yeah, is some dude named the One Who Knows It All or something. He's blind and on the moon and lives on the moon.
What the fuck?
But Nick Fury,
the movie impacted the
Nick Fury,
comics.
but it kind of went comics, movies, comics, movies, comics. Because now he's Nick Fury's son,
and that's
Nick Fury Jr.
And I get it. They almost got me with Suicide Squad, the current run, having Peacemaker and Bloodsport. But it's the thing that gets me, and it's like kind of what I was trying to get at earlier with the Disney Plus shows and the HBO Max stuff, is the comic book. I hate when it does this, and when the comic books chase the mainstream popularity of the movies. I feel like I understand the idea of saying, like, there could be a kid that goes and sees fucking Captain America movie and is like, oh, I want to read all these Captain America comics. I can understand that. But comics should still be tailored to people that actually read them and not people that would be like, well, I saw that Civil War movie.
Okay.
I guess I'll read Civil War too.
So I really got upset. I thought it was cool to have cameos, but I'm really upset with James Gunn for wasting the original Guardians of the Galaxy. They're never going to show up in another fucking movie. I'm not so mad as I used to be that you had Miley Cyrus be Mainframe, but Mainframe wasn't part of the fucking original. Like, you just fucked it up, man. You just fucked it up, dude.
What is that about?
Those dudes at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the original Guardians, the Ravagers, those are the original Guardians of the comics.
Oh.
And they're from like the 30th century, and they travel back in time to help the Avengers do some shit and whatever. It's really complicated. But there was this whole series that ran for like 100 issues in the 90s. And it was awesome, dude. Like, the mutants had their own planet, and Mainframe was the Vision, but he was like, he had evolved into like some other shit, and like Wonder Man was still around, and they were hunting for Captain America's shield at one point. It was really cool to see, like, the evolution of the Marvel universe, right?
Mm-hmm. But
Sylvester Stallone is Stakar. He's not a badass with a leather jacket, dude. He's a whatever. Anyway, the point is, here's the thing I had no problem with. I had no problem with Charlie 27, who in the comics is white. I had no problem with Ving Rhames playing him. and I had no problem with God damn it, Michelle
But see,
Yeoh.
that goes to a different level of your fandom versus mine. I had no fucking idea that was the original Guardians of
But
the
I'm
Galaxy.
saying, like, if you're a fan, be upset for a reason that makes sense. Like, I don't care that. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Those are the things that were changed that I don't care.
And I think this is a long-winded thing to with talking about with what I was trying to get at with the comic books, but I'm one of the people that I don't believe that you should follow the source material like the Bible. Like, I don't think it's like...
No, you're right.
I think you should definitely take things that you think that could be really good plot points and work in the structure of what the story you want to tell.
Those characters in the MCU as it is now would not make sense.
The
Dark
Dark Knight is a great example of a movie that is 100% an adaptation of The Killing Joke. They just shifted the focus from Gordon to Harvey. And Joker's main attempt was to get Harvey to crack. Yeah. And it's got elements of The Long Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's got elements of The Killing Joke.
Everything's got elements of stuff.
What I'm saying is it blends those in, and it creates a new experience. So I'm someone who... I don't mind the fact that Captain America Civil War isn't at all like the comic book Civil War, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
No, me too. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I read this article and it was kind of stupid. You know what? Let's move on to the next topic because we're literally going to talk about this for like another half an hour if we just keep talking about it.
But how the movies and TV shows impact the comics.
Yeah, because what we wanted to originally talk about was Marvel versus DC animation because there's not a lot of Marvel animation out there.
Well, we will. It was just I thought it was an interesting conversation to have about how I have gone back and forth with this because, like I said, stop rubbing your mustache on the microphone.
Whoa.
I want HBO Max to still have Doom Patrol and Titans and the Green Lantern show.
Doom Patrol is awesome.
And shit like that. And I want Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki and WandaVision. I like them having those spaces there because
it's sexy.
The only one that I could see being its own movie would be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Which they are kind of making.
That's the only one I felt like should have just... That's the only one I really felt like should have been the movie. I like that WandaVision was more drawn out, and we kind of got to take that journey with her. And I really love Loki being a TV show. I think Loki only works as a TV show with all the shit they're trying to do and set up. But my point is this. I love that What If exists, and I will watch it and enjoy it. Yeah. I'm glad that it's just them trying to say, like, let's do something a little weird that doesn't necessarily tie to everything. And I want to see...
Even though I'm pretty sure it will.
And I want to see more of that, which, of course, brings me to the topic of, is this the start of Marvel finally catching up with DC on the animation front?
No.
You don't think so?
No. And here's why. Marvel doesn't put enough resources into it. DC... See, okay, so... Warner Brothers is DC pretty much. Okay, so they own this big conglomeration of shit, and they have tons and tons and tons and tons of money. Now Disney does too, and they could if they diverted enough money and resources to it, but they haven't because they don't need to.
Here's what's funny. And I want to kind of jump off that too here's what's funny about this whole story is Warner Brothers and Disney essentially did create the movie version of the big two fighting each other.
Right.
Because, Marvel and DC have been doing this shit together all since the beginning of time. They need each other. They need the two, right? And now because Warner Brothers has owned all the DC properties for a long time. But since they own all their rights, now Disney finally owns majority of pretty much all of the Marvel characters except Spider-Man.
Everything else.
Except for Sonyverse. But anyway... It's kind of built up, and what's funny is both Disney and Warner Brothers started in animation.
Yeah.
You've got Mickey Mouse, the Looney Tunes, and it's so funny to see these two combat each other in this front.
And you know what?
But back to what you were saying, you don't think Marvel's putting enough resources into it, while Warner Brothers they have a whole animation division.
Right. Well, here's I know Disney does too.
Well, yeah, but that's
as
more.
far
That's,
as
that's
I-
original properties. That's
right,
not
as far
Marvel.
as far as I can tell, Marvel is its own separate entity within the Disney family, and so is Star Wars.
Yes.
Like they're both
Yeah.
separate entities. They're not necessarily. I mean, Disney owns them, and if they want to do a Star Wars Marvel thing, they could. Which don't you fucking dare?
Oh God.
Don't.
Ew.
Don't. But let's also talk about the fact that most of these comic books, or most of these animated movies that DC has made, are adaptations of specific graphic novels or stories in the comics. Now they're not faithful adaptations because, like you said, there have to be some narrative choices that you make to make the story work better as a moving story. Something that works in a comic may not work in an actual animated or live action thing. That's why things are changed. Okay.
Well, that's like I was saying earlier about the movies and and the comics. You do have to create a separate experience and an adaptation because one, you just can't film certain things. And two, if you want that experience, why not just read the book?
They both got into animation around the same time in the 60s, okay?
Yeah.
What they had the first Batman, the TV show, was just a massive hit. So that's where Spider-Man, the TV show, came from. Have you ever seen that?
No. Did you talk about Japanese Spider-Man?
No, the real Spider-Man.
But have you seen the Japanese Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's not Spider-Man. It's incredibly entertaining, but it's not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man is this guy, and it's
there's a
generally
Shazam TV show?
I watched that when I was a kid. There's generally a Peter Parker, and he's walking around and shit. And occasionally they'll show this dude who's very obviously on a line on the side of a building, pulled up.
I've seen the GIF of that. Yeah.
That was Spider-Man, and that didn't work because. And then they tried Incredible Hulk, but they tried to go gritty. While Batman and DC were intentionally campy and shit. So interesting now that DC has
the party's flipped
a little bit like
honestly that
kind
is
of the way to describe Dixiecrats, really.
Well, I'm just saying in general that's the way I look at Marvel and DC because I feel like, and I'm not this.
They both had cartoons in the 60s.
Let's make it clear. I'm talking about fanboys in particular because most comic book fans love both Marvel.
When somebody
DC.
says F-boy, I go, I'm a fanboy, and they're like, no.
No, F-boy Island is. Ashley's been watching that. Anyway.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I didn't watch it too.
Listen.
Anyway, I'm married. God damn it.
Listen, I passed it, and I seriously considered watching it.
I still have yet to catch up on all of Titans, but I'll watch fucking F-boy Island.
I'm never gonna watch Titans. Boo.
Season 3's coming.
Fucking boo.
I want to watch it.
Never liked the Teen Titans. What a stupid
Tyler,
idea.
What if
hey,
you
Tyler?
What if it's for the show?
Okay.
If we
I'll watch
watch
one episode.
and then
you tell me which one.
Shit, I don't have to review it by myself. You know what? Fuck it. I'll bring Luke on because Luke actually likes that show. Fuck you.
Well, listen, Teen Titans was created in direct response to the fucking popularity
we're not
of the
getting
X-Men.
We're not getting
okay,
into because we're
You're
gonna
right.
go
I'm
off
a nerd.
Yeah.
We're
gonna go
So-
down another rabbit. But what were we were talking about this before Titans and F-boy Island. Fanboys. I'm talking about fanboys. I make that joke of calling them political parties because with particular people it is like being in. Well, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a DC. Like you have your preference, but you'll read both and you like.
Oh
both.
yeah, I love all comic books, man.
Yes,
Like
the party's
mostly.
the party's flipped. So
I even love those weird like independent ones that are literally just dudes drawing chicks with giant tits on the cover. It's what is it? Vampirella and
Vampirella.
Lady Death. Yeah, I bought a couple of those when I was young to see if there was a story, and I got exactly what I wanted: tits.
Yeah. As a teenage boy,
I even love those.
I read a few of those. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes.
So they switched that kind of dynamic, making it more gritty. But I think it was the '90s was kind of the superhero animated renaissance because you had Batman the animated series, you had the Spider-Man series, you had X-Men,
Everybody
had
loves
Justice
X-Men,
League,
which I never watched.
Superman.
Boo. Brave and the Bold.
You didn't like the Superman's animated series?
I didn't watch a lot of those. I was too old for animation at that point.
You were aged out of that. Yeah, for sure.
I did see
but that's what I'm saying is that the 90s era, the one that I grew up with, I think was a big renaissance. And I think that was kind of establishing. It was really smart because it really did establish those characters for me culturally. So when the X-Men came out, when Spider-Man came out, I was still 8 or 9 years old, and I was super fucking excited.
I did see the first episode ever of the X-Men animated series, and I had bought the comic book also. And I was amazed that a afternoon cartoon show was that dark. I mean, they kill Morph in the first episode, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't know. I would love to go back and watch those on Disney Plus.
They're there, I think.
Yeah, they're there.
You know what I watch a lot? Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
That show is so bad.
It is so bad, but here's the thing. Okay, so I'm a little kid, and I love all these comic books, right? I love them so much. And there's a show. There was 2 shows on Saturday morning. There was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and The Incredible Hulk. And The Incredible Hulk at one point had the leader, and I'm talking about the fucking dude with the giant forehead, dude. Not like he's now, but like just a giant, really big forehead, and he's green. It was great. Anyway, so I love these comic books, and I see an episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. By the way, Firestar had to be introduced in the comics. She was not an original comics character. Iceman is.
Goes back to the Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was created in the Batman show and then got added to the comics later.
There were 2 episodes with X-Men involved, which were great because it's the fucking X-Men on fucking TV, dude. But the best one was this episode called 7 Little Superheroes. And it stars Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and Namor and Doctor Strange and Captain America and She-Ra and who else?
Fucking She-Ra.
Yeah. But is that 1, 2, 3, 4?
Do they have He-Man too while they're at it?
No, but that was
they could only get his sister.
Shauna, Queen of the Jungle. Sorry, she's an actual character.
I thought it was a weird Mattel Marvel crossover.
So it's Spider-Man, Firestar, Iceman, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Namor, and Shauna, Queen of the Jungle, and they all go to this island where the chameleon is setting them up. And I just got to tell you right now, it was really cool seeing the comic book characters on screen and shit. But let me just tell you, the way
animation.
they represent these characters in this story, these guys are stupid and they're unskilled and they're just, they're klutzes, they're dumb.
Oh yeah, because it's still trying to be like a cutesy cartoon.
This robot eats Doctor Strange, okay? And Namor is like, I'm dried out. I'm in a pool full of water, not even smelling the alcohol. Jumps into the pool full of alcohol that he didn't smell.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's how Chameleon takes them all out. He takes them all out, and then after a while, it's just Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, Spider-Man's the last one left. It's like,
Oh, so they just brought these characters in to dunk on them and make Spider-Man look better?
Basically. But Captain America is like an idiot. Like, he's like, hey, here's my shield. Whoops. And like Shauna falls twice. And she's like known for her like prowess in the trees and shit. Like, what the fuck? It's pretty bad. But
so after that, Marvel was like, well, we can't fucking keep up with DC.
Dude, the Super Friends cartoon was another one of my favorites from my childhood, man. That one was... I especially like it better when they brought in like Samurai and Black Falcon and Apache Chief.
So that's weird. So yeah, Marvel.
There's a couple of iterations of Super Friends cartoons.
This is what's so interesting about this, and us being different generations is, you have a much more.
I'm a nerd.
Well, no, I'm saying that Marvel animation is much more embedded in you than is in me because again. When I was a kid, DC was more dominant because Warner Brothers had fucking Cartoon Network, and I was already watching Cartoon Network other shows, original shows, and then the Justice League shit would come on, and that's how I got into Dragon Ball Z as well, the Toonami shit.
Go ahead.
But what I'm getting at is, I have that relationship versus yours. I don't, Amazing Friends and the Black Falcons, that doesn't connect or anything in my brain because I didn't have that, and. Yes, Marvel had its shows. It had X-Men and it had Spider-Man, as I mentioned before. And
those were more like 90s, though, yeah.
Yeah, and those, again, were the same time as the Batman animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League Unlimited.
So let me, I do want to make
that's
a couple of...
That's why I think that I feel the way I do towards
But
DC.
I need to make a couple of notes about my upbringing so that you understand how different it was compared to now, okay? We didn't have comic shops. We didn't have any comic shops where we were. We had to go to the Pony Express, which was like a QT type of place.
Mm-hmm.
We drove our bikes there, and they had a comic rack. And we bought whatever they had. And hopefully we could buy the next issue if they got it next month, right? There was a direct market, which was comic book shops, and a general market. So if you ever see a comic book with a barcode down in the corner there,
Mm-hmm.
that's like the books they ship to like Barnes and Noble and like fucking gas stations and grocery stores and shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have a comic book store. We read whatever we could get our hands on. And the other thing too, I grew up in North Dakota, and ABC aired most of the DC cartoons and the Shazam show. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Batman one, and he was with another, like a dog who had a fucking house on his head. It was weird. Wolfman Jack was in it. Anyway, but they were on ABC, and where I grew up in Bismarck, ABC had no local affiliate. So we had to buy cable, which we never did, to watch anything on ABC. We never did. So we had I think NBC broadcast all the Marvel cartoons, so we always got the Marvel ones. But I remember the first thing we did when we moved to Iowa was we turned on the TV and turned it to ABC, and we're like, holy shit. It's crazy. So it's not necessarily that I wanted it that way. It's just how the fucking there wasn't as many DC books.
And it's interesting because it definitely shows the impact it had on our childhoods, because we've talked about this. I tend to skew a little bit more DC. Mm. You tend to skew a little bit more Marvel.
Mm. And there's reasons, but also...
I think that has an impact. I think the fact that I had more access to DC shows than I think I did Marvel shows, even though, Spider-Man Unlimited existed, and there were other shows, but like the radioactive Spider-Man, that's my Spider-Man from my childhood. Yeah. And that's actually what got me... That's how Venom became my favorite character.
Show. It's considered one of the best of all.
The 3-episode arc that is... I'm looking at the camera. There's no camera. That is the Venom saga.
Ooh.
Is what got me into... Like, that's what made Venom my favorite Spider-Man character, and I was already into Spider-Man. But I'd always been more of a Batman kid, and again, I think that's because Batman the Animated Series, which, going back and watching as an adult... You talked about Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends being, or did you say that one show was surprisingly dark? Is that what you're saying?
No, the first episode of the X-Men cartoon.
Oh, the X-Men.
Not Wolverine and the
right,
X-Men,
right.
the X-Men.
Yes.
Because they're two separate shows.
Very similar to that, Batman the Animated Series is a very surprisingly dark and adult show for kids. Because, for one, Heart of Ice, the Paul Dini wrote that episode, and that rewrites the origin of Mr. Freeze. That was changed in the comics because he was a shitty character before.
Yeah,
Dini.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like,
and that watch that episode now, and you'll tear up too because it's fucking tragic. And I'm like, how is this on a kids show, right? But I don't know. I think maybe DC just rode that momentum that they built with Bruce Timm's.
Brave and the Bold was my favorite.
Brave and the Bold,
but that's more aughts, I think.
Well, but what I'm saying is they kind of wrote that, and there was a period where, again, I aged out, and there were shows that existed. I did watch 2004's The Batman series. That wasn't a Bruce Timm movie or Bruce Timm series that was produced, or maybe he did. But I don't know. It was a different animation style and different than what they were doing. It was an interesting show. I thought it was pretty cool for what it was. But I think I want to say around 2005, 2006 is when DC really started getting serious about creating straight to DVD animated
that's
movies.
when I started buying them. Yeah, I own a lot of them actually. I don't know.
I own a few.
I don't know if I still have them. I might have sold them at different points.
Before HBO Max and before that Disney.
But
before they started putting them on streaming, I was buying them on Blu-ray.
Before we didn't have streaming for the last 5 years.
Well, no, but I mean, even what I'm saying is, not until recently with HBO Max has a lot of them been able.
Now we feel stupid for buying them, is what we're saying. But
no, that's not what I'm saying.
I feel stupid for buying all those goddamn Marvel Blu-rays. Fuck you guys. Okay, now, just real quick, you guys.
Now I feel stupid.
You guys might not understand this, but do you understand the shitstorm that Spider-Man's black costume created back in the day? That was unheard of. Changing a fucking comic character. What? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Well, now you look at Spider-Man, and he has like 1 million costumes.
My favorite part about that is that it's forgotten how much of a controversy it was to get the suit.
Which is my personal favorite.
And you know Jim Shooter, the guy who wrote Secret Wars, where it first showed up, you know he didn't have designs on a Venom creature or any of that shit. It was Spider-Man writers who took what was there and made it their own.
Yeah, and they made
David
the whole
Michelini
they made up the whole symbiote thing.
is basically, and Todd McFarlane are the guys who basically created Venom.
Yeah.
And they created it. Now, the fun part is he knew there was things wrong with the suit, and he goes into the cathedral and he gets, the suit runs away because he literally like just goes into this cathedral where the bells are and it runs away, right?
Yeah.
Now, we don't know in this issue because it's not for like a couple of years, like 5 or 6 years in the comics.
Where they established the sonic blast and fire.
They established that at that same point, Eddie Brock was down in that church praying to God. And that's when the symbiote found him. So, again, whoever wrote that book where he goes into the cathedral probably wasn't David Michelini. And no, it wasn't Todd McFarlane. But they saw that and they were like, dude, we really need to make a great villain for Spider-Man. I got an idea. You remember that suit? Hear me out. It's a living, breathing thing. But it's also, it took over somebody else. Somebody else was in that church. And that's what's cool about comics. You take little pieces of stuff that people wrote before and you build on that. That's why comics are great. That's also, but drawing into that, like Harley Quinn and Firestar are both characters that were created on cartoons, right? And what did the comic book writers do? Is they built on that, from the shows. So that's why comics and having live action adaptations and animated ones and everything, that's what's so great about it.
Saying that DC has always established a strong foothold in that space in animation, and it goes back to what you originally said. You said that you just don't think that Marvel puts enough resources into the animation.
Well, yeah, like I mean,
because
back in the day,
think about what I'm saying though.
Right.
I said around I want to say around 2005. I could be off.
Well, they used to copy each other,
but I'm saying 2005 until now. That's 16 years of experience with telling these stories in an animation format.
And the other thing too is there wasn't, whenever the era of these various cartoons, like the X-Men in the 90s or the one in the early 80s, like I was talking about, there wasn't necessarily like a Marvel animation department. At one point there was, but I don't know when, and certainly it wasn't throughout all of these shows. And when you think about it, like, Spider-Man and the Hulk Incredible Hulk were both dramas. And Batman was probably like 5 or 6 years before that, ended like 5 or 6 years before that, and it was all campy. Mm-hmm. So they didn't really copy each other there, but they were like, hey, TV is an access point. See, they were looking at TV and everything else, and like comic strips, comic strips, daily newspapers, you can buy those now, like Superman and Spider-Man and shit. Those were all outlets to get people in the mainstream to pay attention to comic books. Like, hey, check this shit out that we have to offer. We also make books, Mm-hmm. But they were really copying each other back then. Now they're not so much. Marvel has got its own thing going, and DC, I think, is finding its way.
I think that's a good point. I think that they took, instead of putting maybe that extra money they could put in an animation department, maybe they did just apply it to bringing in Kevin Feige and creating the MCU, which, again, ultimately was the best decision they could make. It's made billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah, DCEU, not the AU, but DCEU tried to do that with Jeff Johns, and it didn't work because he didn't stick around, and Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan and da-da-da-da. Well, they didn't stick around, or they didn't know what they were supposed to do, or whatever.
There was constant infighting with DC and Zack Snyder, and the tragedy happening at the end of Justice League, all that.
But I think Paul Dini is in charge of the DCAU.
Bruce Timm, because Bruce Timm is the producer of all of those 90s cartoons.
Okay.
And so he's still been kind
Paul
of
Dini was the writer.
Yeah, and Bruce Timm's kind of been like the head producer of that stuff. He's been like the Kevin Feige of the DCAU.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were saying,
huh?
So you're saying that Bruce Timm is running that? So.
Well, I mean, we were also talking before the show. Like, I don't think I've ever thought of these cartoons, these movies as interconnected.
Yes, and that wasn't the case. And that's again, goes back to our earlier discussion in this episode. What I'm hoping with What If is what DC did do for a long time, where it was just, and they still do these. It's these one-shot movies of these arcs. Like they just released part 2 of The Long Halloween, Batman.
The Dark Knight Returns adaptation, the 2-parter, was pretty badass.
Fucking brilliant. It is, and this is the thing about some of these
sure,
movies.
It's a
some of these movies
moving, basically, but
some of these are a little too faithful. This is what I'm saying. Give me a little something different. That's all I have. Just a skosh.
I didn't mind it all.
No, but it's great.
Loved
it wasn't until around the New 52 era of the DC Comics, and I want to say around 20. Excuse me, I burped.
Gross.
It was around 20. I want to say around 2013, 2014 is when you really have what they call the DCAU.
Yeah.
Where it is all of these stories are connected.
Okay.
In some fashion.
Okay.
But then they blew it up last year and just kind of they
well,
had
the New
they
52
they literally
was...
created their own Endgame event and kind of just erased
the
all
New
of
52 was a great idea in theory, but the execution was poor.
But
I love the idea of trying to reboot all these characters that are like almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
But they just fucked it up.
But that's the thing that I love about the DC animated movies, or the DCAU, whatever you want to call them. While some of them I think definitely did drop in quality, some of them I don't think as good as other ones. You could say that about. Shit. Look at the first 2 Thor movies. you could say that about the MCU.
Right.
But none of, just like the MCU, none of them are bad. None of them have been to the level of like this isn't good. There's only been a handful that have been really bad.
Yeah.
And that would be Batman the Killing Joke. No, I'm kidding. None of them have been bad. They've all been good. They've all been decent. None of them have been like, oh man, I wasted 74 minutes of my life.
Let's just get the Killing Joke out of the way. Whoever had the idea of Batgirl and Batman hooking up at the beginning for some odd fucking reason, fuck, I hope he got fired.
It was probably Bruce Timm's idea.
Yeah, I hope he got fired.
No, he didn't. Don't you talk to Bruce Timm like that.
I will if he's the one who came up with that stupid
similarly,
fucking thing.
The last thing that I remember being animated from Marvel, other than obviously What If, is Hulk versus. And that was a double featured thing. It was Hulk versus Wolverine and Hulk versus Thor.
Iron Man. Oh, yeah.
No, that's not true. They did a Planet Hulk movie.
Yes.
After that, the last one that I remember is Planet Hulk.
They did some. And
that was 11 years ago.
Advanced motion comics in a lot of stuff. They had an Inhumans one. They had X-Men.
They did Joss Whedon's Ultimate X-Men and like a motion comic.
Joss Whedon, dude. Just fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching.
The worst part is the first Avengers and Avengers: Age of Ultron are still fun movies.
Here's the thing. I was watching Avengers: Age of Ultron, and there's a part where they first get attacked at the party, and they both Black Widow and Mark Ruffalo, they jump over the bar, and he lands with his face in her tits.
Yeah, and then he does that again in Justice League. With
is that how
Flash
you think women? Is that how you
Woman.
think guys get women? You fucking loser! You bald fucking comic book loser who got lucky.
So anyway, back to animation.
Sorry, fuck that guy.
And that is true though. Marvel had like DVDs of like these motion comics, like they were whole runs.
But they also had what you were talking about too. They had they did have an Iron Man show in the 90s, I think. That was terrible.
They didn't like they did.
Have you seen the Silver Surfer one on Disney Plus?
No,
it is fucking bad.
A couple of years ago,
but it's Silver Surfer, so
like I want to say 2008, 2009 in that area. They also did Marvel. They did like this Marvel anime. They tried to do, and it was Wolverine and
Boo,
Iron Man. I think they also had a Blade series.
Yeah. I remember that. Yep. They have a Fantastic Four series on Disney Plus that is very anime.
You and I are not anime people. We're just not into it.
I watched Akira, seen it, done it.
What's crazy about it?
Nothing else that comes out from anime will ever.
But I will say this: I love how much people that watch anime love it. I'm happy. I'm happy for them.
I guess, but how confused are they, man? I mean, I don't even know. One Piece Punch Man,
One Punch Man, and Attack on Titan.
Their titles are so
Cowboy
forgettable.
Bebop.
So forgettable, dude.
I don't know.
I'm
not here to bash anime.
Let's get to the
no,
long
we're not
box.
even close. We're not even close. I'm not done having this discussion with you. Well, no, what I'm saying is the only thing that I remember was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Where consistently in that time, every single year they were releasing like 1 or 2 animated movies direct to DVD.
Yep.
And it was insane that DC was putting out
They
this
were
work.
getting
And the fact
the
that it was
voice
still
talent that they were getting too,
and
like
the fact
Peter
that
Weller, holy
it's still
shit.
quality. And honestly, I think what's so cool, and which I think you're right, I don't think Marvel animation is. I think this What If is a testing ground for Marvel to be like,
Possibly.
okay, let's try some more animated projects. But
It's cheaper.
it will. I don't think it'll ever reach the level of the DC animated stuff because the DC animation is now directly impacting the movies because I don't know. I think this is what the DCEU is or what Warner Brothers is going to do now, and it's what their animation division has been doing for years. They have this new 52 storyline that's running that's kind of like their main continuity, but then they'll go off and they'll make Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Superman The Man of Tomorrow, Superman versus the Elite, like the death of Superman, the reign of Superman. Like they'll do this stuff that's not necessarily directly tied to that main storyline. And now you're seeing it happen in the live action movies because you have Joker, you have the Batman that are operating in their own continuity outside of what's going on with what just happened with the Suicide Squad and what they're going to do in the next Justice League and Flashpoint, all this shit. And so that is how much DC values their animation, where they took that model and said, maybe if that's working for this, why can't it work for this? And I don't think Marvel has that. I don't think Marvel.
No, there was a Green Lantern movie, animated movie, and a Doctor Strange animated movie, and they both came out around the same time.
Oh yeah,
and I remember watching them both on Netflix when they were still selling. They still send DVDs, but that's
also. I want to go back real quick. You weren't talking about the anime one. You're right. There was an Iron Man animated movie that came out before they released.
They had a really shitty cartoon you can see on Disney Plus. It's from the 90s.
Oh, sorry.
And it's
never
a
mind.
really
I didn't mean it. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
But like 2006, 2007, they released an Iron Man animated movie, and that built a little bit of a groundswell.
They had a CGI one too. That was really
That's what I think
looks really neat. But anyway,
yeah. But they had a Green Lantern and Doctor Strange show.
They both came out around the same time. They're both movies, feature length movies, but they were animated. And I remember watching them, and I remember thinking. The Green Lantern movie hadn't come out yet. But I remember watching both these, and I'm like, the Green Lantern one held me in rapt attention. Every part of it was like gorgeous to see. It was just a lot of fun. And the Doctor Strange one just didn't work. The Doctor Strange animated movie was like the Green Lantern real movie. A lot of talent went into it, but man, too many cooks? I don't know, but
that's the problem.
It just was not good. I was so surprised that Doctor Strange, the actual movie, worked, because after I saw that animated movie, I'm like, it's never going to work. They can't do it.
Well, as we wrap this up, I know you kind of wanted to stay vague about it. What did you think of the animation style, though, before we end the show?
I love the animation style.
I like the cell shade.
So cool.
I like the cell shading. I think that's really cool.
So cool. They don't necessarily look like the characters, but they do enough.
And here's what I found out. Because I recently bought X-Men Legends.
Ooh,
you were there. You were with me.
I was with you.
And I will talk.
Yeah.
I will eventually play through it with my wife and talk about it. But anyway,
we should do a live stream.
I remember playing that and thinking to myself, one, for a game that came out in 2004, it still plays pretty decent. But two, the graphics are actually better.
Yeah. Because
it's cell shaded.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you cell shade correctly, you can make something feel timeless. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, oh, because you watch this, you're watching the 60s cartoons, you watch the 90s cartoons, and you're like, Jesus, this was quality. This animation was slick back in the day.
And you
go,
look at
shit,
stuff
watch
from,
something watch a live action movie from 2006 or 7 and you're like, this looks like shit. Wait, what? We don't realize how good things look now. So I love the fact
A Scanner Darkly is a perfect example of cell shading done right.
and that's what I like about this What If, just what I've seen from trailers. I really like the animation on it.
And
I
they're
think it's
half-an-hour episodes, so they go quick.
Also, I will say the DCAU's animation style is like a weird blend of hard edges, and it kind of looks a little bit more like an anime style, but it's not. It's still
Well, the
Final
Final Frontier
Western
movie utilizes Darwin Cook's art style, which is awesome because he's fucking fantastic. He did a couple of the Before Watchmen stuff. He died, actually.
Yeah. So let's wrap up this week's episode with another edition of Tyler's
Long Box.
Stop.
Oh.
Gosh. Long box. So you gotta do it just right.
Sorry, man.
We blew out the mic. Is what I was saying.
Is everybody okay out there?
Did you
Pull over to the
smash
side
your
of the
car
road.
into
Pull
the side of the road? Tyler, what's in the long box?
The long
today?
box-
Open up the box, dig it out.
This
What's in
week,
there?
this week,
I don't know why I went Cosby.
I don't know. You're like, no. I think you were doing Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Kind of. I was doing like I was trying to do the fucking the werewolf guy that was on the radio.
You know, Wolfman Jack.
Wolfman Jack. Hey man, what's in Tyler? What's in that long box? Anyway,
So fucking creepy.
we're fucking dorks.
So
Pretty cool,
I love
right?
Legos, and I wanted to talk about Legos real quick. They just came out with a bunch of new Marvel Lego sets, and one of them is called Bro Thor's New Asgard, which is awesome. It's literally a room full of pizza boxes. You have a little mech, and you have a Korg with like headphones, and there's like controllers, and you have Fat Thor, and there's all these bottles around.
Say, Bro Thor, sir.
Whatever. Anyway, but it's really cool because it's neat, you know. And here's one criticism that I have of. I also talked about the Sicarian Iron Man, and I also talked about. I bought the Captain Carter and Hydra Stomper set. That was really cool. And then my issue with Legos, both DC and Marvel. DC, they didn't really get into it until about 7 years ago, and they came out with a couple of Batman things, but then they came out with this one set, and it was Aquaman and Mr. Freeze and a Batman in a white suit because it was Arctic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, holy shit, this is cool. There's an Aquaman minifigure. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. Then I found out that they came out with one like a year later, which blew my mind because I was like, the first Lego movie had a Green Lantern minifigure. I'm like, why is there no green? They came out with one with a Sinestro and like a space Batman. And they started doing this. And I was like, this is really cool. But then I started noticing something really shitty. And it's kind of goes to capitalism. But every DC comic book set has to come with a Batman or a Superman. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because you know how many fucking Batmans I have? And how many Supermans
Well, it's
I have?
like, and to tie it back to our animation conversation, they'll shoehorn in Wonder Woman into Justice Society of World War II, and they shoehorned Batman into Justice League Dark. They do that with what I'm saying is like that's a weird thing that they do with their properties, and I'm sure Marvel's guilty of it too.
I honestly,
I guarantee they have to be like, we have to put a Spider-Man in this Marvel set.
Well, no, yeah, because they want to sell it, and
kids want Spider-Man.
Sure. Now they have a set out. I haven't gotten it yet, but it's the Endgame Final Battle, and it has Thanos, which again I have about 1 million Thanos. Is enough? Give me some minifigures of the Black Order. You know what I mean, or some
get
whatever.
some more Venom minifigures. I'll buy
Right, fucking it. They have a whole Spider-Man Venom side thing going on there, but
Sony.
Then the minifigures are a tiny little Ant-Man, Black Panther, which is cool, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America with Mjolnir, and that's cool because you have to have the big three, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Endgame thing. I don't have a problem with that necessarily, but it seems like on the Marvel side, it's either Iron Man, Captain America, or Thor who's in a set. And it's really irritating.
Yeah, that's weird because that's kind of like the MCU's Trinity is.
Right, but even they used to make sets that had nothing to do with the movies. They made an X-Men set with the Blackbird and a Sentinel and Cyclops and Storm and fucking Wolverine, dude. Oh, man, that was the golden age, man. Just listen, if anybody from Lego is listening, I want to work for you, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a brand new direct only to fans. Okay, you have to go online
like OnlyFans.
this way because they're worried. Oh my god!
You did it unintentionally. You're like a direct
Wow.
line only to fans.
Yeah, I totally did. We were talking about OnlyFans earlier, but anyway.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit
No, but
naked and read comic books.
I came up with this great idea because
Yeah.
I know the reason why they have to have those characters in each set is so that
so they can sell them. Yeah.
right, so they have sellability, right? Okay, here's my idea. Bear with me. Eliminate that shit. Okay, now you have your normal sets that you put in the stores and stuff.
Goes back to what I was saying about comic books. Sell to me.
But you make each one of those sets like not limited runs, but you make them so that you make them as they like get ordered. You know, instead of like
Made to order
making
kind
a
of thing.
shitload of them and then sending them to stores everywhere and keeping a couple for online orders. No, you have a direct fucking thing, a link, and you go, hey, this is what I want, and you give them sets that have no Spider-Mans. And no Thors and you give me a set with the fucking power pack, man. You give me a Fantastic Four set. You give me a Mole Man with all his moloids set fighting the Fantastic Four. You give me that shit, man. And I guarantee you there are adults like me who will pay through the fucking nose for that shit. So Lego, you want to make some serious cash with your fucking licenses? Come see me. Aight?
Are you done?
I'm fucking done, dude.
That was Tyler's long box.
Yeah.
Get funky.
Was that pretty good?
All right, now it's time for Jake.
You start it over.
All right. Shh. We're gonna get it right, everybody. Jake. Unlimited. All right, back to the show. For today, for this week's Jake Unlimited, I want to talk about Green Lantern No Fear, and for DC, and then for Marvel, Donny Cates' Venom. So Green Lantern No Fear is I think it's 2005 is when it was really published. It's kind of the start. It's, if I remember correctly, let me look at it real quick. I believe it's right before
Blackest Night.
No, Rebirth, Green Lantern Rebirth. But I could be wrong. I'm going to pull it up here real quick. Anyway, Tyler, vamp some more real quick about your Legos.
So they got this new, it's $300.
I love how you're like, no problem, I'll fucking talk about Legos.
A $300 Daily Bugle set that just came out, and it's this gigantic fucking set. And the big draw about it is that it has the first ever Daredevil, Punisher, and Firestar, and I can't remember some other characters ever created. Okay, now that's cool, but I don't want to spend $300 fucking to get those 3 minifigures. That's dumb. Now the set would be awesome to build. Fuck yeah, but again, I read a rumor that a lot of the Star Wars sets coming out now are supposed to be a little bit less pricey because they realize that they're pricing out a lot of their customers, a lot of their young customers. So what they started doing was like an X-Wing from like 2 or 3 years ago would have been like $90 and like 600 pieces, right? And now it's like $50 and it's like 300 pieces. So it's not only a little easier to build for younger kids, but it's cheaper so they can afford it. Now start doing that with Marvel, you guys.
Yeah.
Start doing that with Marvel.
All
In
right.
fact, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, it's kind of at the beginning of Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern.
All right.
So it's still before everything kind of goes crazy, and it's kind of building back up Hal Jordan. It's a fun read. I think they only have volume 1 of this on Comixology Unlimited. So yeah, go check out Green Lantern No Fear. And then a book that I've been reading, I kind of fell off on. I started reading again because now he's moved on from the book. I've been reading Donny Cates' X-Men. Donny Cates' Venom. Donny Cates is also doing Thor. I've been reading that too.
He is one of our. Both of us are very, very big fans. Of
I liked
Donny
him
Cates.
a lot, but I'm interested because
Did I let you
Marvel
borrow?
has a weird relationship with Donny, because Donny kind of just does everything now, because he did Cosmic Ghost Rider, he
which
did
was
the Thanos series.
Silver Surfer Black was one of the best comics I've
Yeah.
read in a long time.
I haven't read the King in Black stuff, but
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
yeah. Anyway, no, I've been reading through Donny Cates' Venom, and I do. as a longtime Venom fan, I do not mind that Donny Cates likes to retcon things about Venom. There are a few things that upset me throughout this run, as we find out that the Venom symbol isn't just a white spider because of Spider-Man's suit. It's also a Null's symbol is the spider, which is kind of whatever. But this is actually a really good stripped-down story because it really does follow Kate's tentpoles, father-son relationships, characters, very character-driven, and there's a lot of space and mythological shit that's going into it. I just got to the Venom event. I just got to the Absolute Carnage event that he's doing. And there's a scene in this series where we find out that Eddie was drunk driving and killed a kid. And then we found out his dad, because they were a wealthy family in this town, his dad told him, because his dad had pull, said, "You're pleading not guilty." And he goes, "I did this. I'm guilty." And his dad beats him in the police interrogation room. He asks the deputy to leave and smashes his head on the table and punches him and it's very abusive to Eddie. And I was just like, oh shit, this is really dark for a Venom book. But
What did you say? This is really dark for a Venom book? That's saying a lot.
Yeah, because his character's
suit
black.
is black.
Wow.
Whoa. Blew my mind.
Black suit. No, I enjoy it, and I like it having a more personal tone. I just wish there's just some little retcons. I'm like, do we really need to retcon that? Can we just...
Yeah.
Null is interesting, because Null is a character that shouldn't be as cool as he is. He shouldn't be as awesome as he is. And it kind of drives me insane that this character was only created a few years ago, because he feels so integrated in Marvel now.
He first appeared in Silver Surfer Black.
Oh, and did you know that his sword is used by Gore the God Butcher?
Yes,
The all black. The necromancer.
Dude, I don't know what he's going to actually look like in Thor Ragnarok,
if they somehow tie the all black to the Sonyverse and Tom Hardy, I don't know if I want it, but that's pretty damn impressive if they created Null out of Thor Love and Thunder. Pretty dope, honestly. And with that, I'm sorry, I just started reading Green Lantern. No fear, I've been
lame.
I've been reading Venom more, but those are two that I recommend.
Says the guy who plays with Legos
for Jake Unlimited. Yeah, you were just talking about Legos for 20 minutes. You fucking Lego nerd.
Still single, ladies.
Still single. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to Hey, we hit our target around 90 minutes. Look at this go. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Off Panel Off Topic.
With Jake and Tyler.
Yeah.
Wait, until Venom starts hanging out with Mysterio on an island filled with bats, we'll see you next week. Is that good? Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
no, not
and
me.
smoking weed.
Me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake,
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.